So hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live at 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. So we will wait a little bit for everyone to get on. And I do have our hummingbird vase and hummingbird dish that we are working on for this month called Birds and Blooms, which we did with chalk. And we also did a sandstone type of texture on our box on our first video using 1 part baking soda to 5 parts paint. So that's basically 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 5 teaspoons of paint, and then you mix it together and brush it on, and you get a you can pretty much see the little texture on it when I turn it just right. It's just a little bumpy. It's less than what would probably be on your drywall walls, but it's not really bumpy that you can't use it. So the sand, you could also use sand, and sand will with the same recipe, but I actually put a little more sand in it. It gets really bumpy, just kind of like your drywall walls. So you can kind of see now when it's tilted here, you can kind of see the texture here. It's a real fine sand look to it. And then the lid, I did not put that on because I wanted it to be nice and smooth for our chalk. And then the inside is glazed just to make it easier to wipe out. It's truly not food safe because you do have the acrylics on the outside, but the glaze on the inside will make it easier to clean. So that is our pieces. We'll put these aside, but I need one of them to look at. We are working on the vase. Then I do have your April box, and I have to think before I say April because time's flying by. So it is this grizzly bear, a Doc Holliday mold with her cubs. It looks shiny again on the screen, but it really is not. And let me see if I put a bottle of paint here next to it, just to give you an idea how big it is. So it's a nice big piece. So this is our April box, and it's called A Grizzly Good Time. But I just wanted to show you the paint bottle compared to the mold. It's a nice big mold, so that is why you're only getting 1 piece this month. So that is the back. That was the front, and this is the back. Now, because of the body build of it being like fuller through the chest and fluffier, bigger build, it is a grizzly bear. However, I did have a request for black bears. So I did paint it as a black bear. A little dusty from being in my house here. So you could do it as a black bear also, and again it looks shiny, but it's not. With the black bear, I base coat it black and then dry brush it really lightly with charcoal. Just so you can see the texture of the fur more. But as you can see, you could do it as a black bear, but technically it is a grizzly bear, so your instructions will be for a grizzly bear. But for the black bear, just base coat it black and then do your highlighting with charcoal, just a very little bit, and that will give you the black bear look. So that is our bears for April, I'm sorry. So I do have shop hours on Saturday the 25th, so I will start invoicing on Sunday the 26th. Thank you for everyone that joined us with our sale on Monday night. So that was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So we were on, I actually underlined it before we started, number 7 on our instructions. So your boxes do come with instructions. And we are on about number 7. And I got it underlined so it's easier for me to follow when I'm on the camera. Then I do have the Faber-Castell brand of chalks here tonight that we're using. You can use whatever brand works for you. This is kind of a middle of the row brand, not real expensive and not real cheap, and works pretty good. So the pastels can run from like $2.99 up to like $114. These are around the $14 range. They also come in 48 and 72 colors. So there are lots of colors you can get. The 72 colors are about $23, and I did just get those for the classroom. If you're using something that's harder, you're going to want to use a fixative spray in between your layers of chalk. I didn't use it with the Faber-Castells. You could if you wanted to. And then if you're using like the pan pastels, the higher end, you likely do not need to use the fixative in between. So we are on our piece, and we are at, I just want to dust it here. So it's been sitting since last week. So we were working on our green. Now I did order these little characters this week, and you will get these in your box as an extra, a featured item. So they're little lipstick wands, and I used it on the red, and actually they work really good, so that's why I'm going to put them in your box as kind of an extra. So they're just lipstick wands, but you will be getting some in your April box, and I just went in and kind of rubbed it back and forth. And because it's got that nice little point on it, you can kind of get into your little crevices a little bit better than with a big, even the little stubby dry brush. So these work really good. I really like them. So it was just something I seen and thought, oh, I wonder if that will work for putting on our chalk. And it works pretty darn good. So you guys will get some of these in your April box, along with those mini brushes that we had, those mini liner brushes last year that we had, just for your featured item. So, but these are pretty simple. They're just the, instead of the dry brushes, they are the lip gloss wand, W-A-N-D. All right, so we're gonna go to our green. I gotta remember where we were at with which green I was using. Let's see here. We're gonna go with, I think we got all of our vine green, so we're going to go with this limey green color now. And kind of go over that darker green. It was the blue green here that I used, so now we're going to this kind of limey green. And I am going to use the wands. So you can kind of rub it down in. I'm just kind of rubbing it in circles, just like I did with the dry brush. So you can use the little stubby dry brushes work best for these. If you have the pan pastels, you probably are just going to use like a nylon brush. They're very soft and very pigmented, so a really soft brush works really well for those. But as you can see, the little wands, which will be coming in your box, they work pretty good too. So I'm just blending this green over my blue green, just because there wasn't a really like a dark green in the set of 72. But you just want to, depending upon what set you got, you just really want a nice leaf green color. So just like when we're painting, I use like the accent green, the medium green, and the lime burst. So it's really, you just really kind of want to find those kind of shades of chalk. Again, I'm just rubbing, there's like a little angle side, and I'm using that angle side to load. And then just rubbing down around in circles. And you can see you can get kind of down into all the little crevices, or the little deeper areas with that nice little point on there. So let me check our messages. We got any questions? Nope, looks like we don't have any questions yet, so okay, that's good. So I just rub on my chalk and then come over to my piece and try to get a nice coverage on it. Now we'll come on to our little viney parts here. So I do kind of like these just because they're a little more control with them than the dry brushes. But the dry brushes work good too, so these were just kind of an experiment. So I want to use them on the video tonight, because they are coming in your boxes, so you know how to use them. And just kind of rub them down. So we're just kind of making our vines a little bit greener instead of so blue-green. Because they didn't have a real true dark green in the thing, in the color pack. And now I'm just following my vines here, or the plant stems. And then onto our little flower. I don't remember what these are called, but it's part of the flower, and they're usually green. So we'll use these for a little bit, and then I'll go back to the brush just because you guys probably don't have these. So, but I just wanted to show you that how they work when you get them, if you want to do more chalking. Every once in a while there I get into the wrong green. It's been that kind of a day. Today I baked a chocolate cake from scratch and made the frosting and was just really waiting to taste it, and it smelled so good, and when I opened the oven it was flatter than a pancake, and then I figured out I didn't put the flour in it. So so much for chocolate cake and chocolate frosting today. And then you want to blow some air every once in a while on it. If you you could get one of those computer cans for spraying air, or I just use my mouth. Let's see if we got any questions. Nope, no questions. So we're just working our way onto all of our little green areas. And just using the little lip gloss wand just to show you guys it's something else that works to apply your chalk with. Works really good on the little viney areas, you can see, because like it's kind of small, so you can get into the dainty little areas. So those will be coming, like I said, in your March box. And so I'm just putting this kind of the lime burst green over the top of that blue green, just to kind of bring more green back into the vines instead of so blue green. So depending upon which color kit you have, just like pick out a green that's a plant green. Oh, got it all over the background, but that's okay. We'll touch that up. My fingers are really dry this week from the clay and fixing the pump last week and whatnot. Alright, so I'm going to switch back to the brushes, but I just want to show you guys that you'll be getting these in your box and what you can do with them. So now we'll go back to, I'm just going to go back to my stubby brushes, because that's probably what most of you have, and so we're just going to kind of rub our green down. I would use those little wands like for little fine areas like these greeneries, the little vine greens. Has anyone finished their hummingbird stuff yet? Anybody working on it? Anybody having troubles? So I'm just brushing back and forth in my green that I'm using, and then coming to my piece, and I just kind of go round and round and kind of rub it down in there. If you have the pan pastels, like you don't really have to do all this rubbing that I'm doing. But this is kind of the more affordable chalk probably for everyone. You'll put the pan pastels on really lightly with a nylon brush, and you won't have to do all this scrubbing back and forth and around and around. to get it to go on. One of our ladies did post last week that she got the pan pastels at Joann Fabrics 50% off. So you could always watch for a day or two to go on sale. So Mona says she's got the birds left. Well, that's good. So you're working on it. And you did the others first instead of the birds first, huh? So see, everybody has their own way of doing things, so nothing wrong with that. So I'm just going to come back and kind of build this green up a little bit more. So I will do invoices on Sunday, and then you guys have till the 1st to ship. I'm going to try to, and I think the 1st is like a Saturday, and I'll be at the shop. But then I'm going to try to have the UPS pick up on Monday the 3rd. So Marilyn says she does have the Faber. The lime doesn't want to cover the way yours is covering. So I did use this darker blue-green first, and then the lime. So you may want to do that to get it to cover better. I kind of put a darker green first, and it's kind of a blue-green. So that's why I'm going over with the lime color now. But you kind of need that dark color first. If it's not working at all for you, you can spray it with a blow all your dust off, and then do a really light layer of this, maybe 2 or 3 sprays of it, and then you can just keep building up your color. But you do need that darker green underneath that lime burst type color first. And then I am like rubbing it down in there. I'm not just like brushing it. I'm kind of making those circles, and it's kind of like rubbing down in. And I'm going back over like the areas a couple times, like not just once. Like I've started with this big leaf first, and now I'm back on it. Oh, and then every once in a while I put my, again, in the wrong color. Which really doesn't hurt. It just blends in there. So hopefully that will help you. So now I'm like back over to the other one now. I'm just gonna blend it down in there some more. Come right out to the tips. So I can show you how to spray, like if you have this fixative. So you want to get all your dust off first, and I like to like actually dust it with just a bigger dry brush. And then you want to shake up the fixative, and you're just going to do, like we'll try to do it right on screen, just a nice, really light. And now we'll give that a minute to dry. So that provides like a grit on here, so that like the chalk will grab it better. So we'll just let that dry for a second. And now we can come back to our green. And now you can see like it's building up the color more because it's got that to grab onto. And I'm not rubbing as hard as I was before. I'm going a lot lighter. So you don't want a whole lot of that fixative. You just want a little bit. That good old little bit that everybody gets to hear. It just takes a little bit to get that little bit of grit on there, so that the paint will, or not the paint, the chalk will stick, and like you can build up this layer now. You can see I don't have as much powder now on top because that fixative is there and it's grabbing the chalk, and so it's not so chalky with dust. So that's how you can build up your colors with the I guess we'll call it the mid-range or the cheaper chalk. Back, and so that hopefully that helped you guys, huh? You see Janet says I think I finished it, wanted to watch you so I can understand about the last step, pouncing on the background. Okay, good. So did you guys enjoy the chalk, or is it something you don't want to ever do again, or? Because I do have to start planning for next year's boxes here pretty soon, at least the first couple of months. So I'll have to figure out what kind of projects we're going to do for next year. So you can see, like, it's going on really nice with that little extra spray of the Love the Chalk, easy and fun, good. That, like, if you're having trouble with the chalk not getting the color that you want, you probably really want to get, like, this is just the Krylon brand, but it's called Workable Fixative, and it protects pencil and pastel and chalk drawings, prevents smudging and wrinkling. So you want, I mean, there are a couple different brands. I just got this off of Amazon, but like Michael's, and if you go to like the paint department in Michael's or Hobby Lobby, they're going to have those spray sealers. So let's see, make sure we're not missing any comments. You can see it, like, it really does help grab that paint and build up that color. And it was just like 3 or 4 little sprays is all it took. Really, really light. It's kind of like if you've used the porcelain spray before, that's pretty much this porcelain sealer. That's pretty much what it reminds me of. So I'm going to go back to my blue-green and try to get it down in there just to darken that up a little bit. And then kind of blend it out so I don't have that line there that we have. And then we'll come over here and bring a little bit of that around that edge too. So those little wands that I had, those would work really good for going around that outside. I just want to darken up my edges a little bit on this leaf. It just seemed like it was really light. And then kind of blend my color back together. So you can go back to your darker color if you feel you need to like shade a little bit more. And then kind of bring it into the inside so you don't have a line. You just have that nice gradual color. I think we'll get a little more around this guy's edge. So you can go back and add the darker colors if you need to. Alrighty. So now I like to dust it off with a brush. I think we'll come back to the light color here. So kind of have a line now. Like, you really don't want lines where your light color goes to your dark color. You want it to be a nice gradual change of color. Just bringing some of the light color back in over that dark that I added. Okay, now let's see, after that we are going to use so on number 7 I did go in and paint the vines right away, but I'm going to wait with the vines, and I'm going to put my yellow on my flower first. So I'm going to get a nice little brush here. It's kind of a bigger area. I could probably go with something a little bigger. So I do kind of like the stubbier ones better. And your chalk, like if it gets colors all over, like just blow it off. So I'm just going with the kind of the deeper yellow. And then I'm just kind of rubbing back and forth. You see how we get that powder on there? That's kind of what you want. And now we're going to work this into our bigger flower here. And again, I'm just kind of like rubbing in circles just to kind of rub it down. If you have those pan pastels, again, you won't have to do all that rubbing. You can just put it on there with your nylon brush, and it's just, you're just going to brush it a little bit and it's going to be on there. So there is orange on our flower too, but we're going to cover the whole thing with yellow first. I kind of just go back and forth when I'm going along these edges instead of into circles, just to get it down in that, right where the flower meets the vase. And then for the center part, I'm just going to rub my circles again. And then I do have to like turn my guy around here so I can get into all the little areas. And you just want to blow every once in a while and get all that dust off there. Just rubbing around and around. Oh, wrong yellow. Grab the other one. It actually goes fairly quick. So now I can see some of my green or blue through there. So I'm going to give it a dust. And what you can do is spray like a layer of fixative right through that center there. Make sure you're not getting it on your chalk. So it's just a really light layer. We'll let that dry. It dries really fast. And then we'll go back and kind of build up that yellow so we get that green covered up. You could also, you could have base coated it there with ivory first if you wanted. So that's how you can get that deeper yellow too, is giving it that little shot of fixative. So we didn't use the fixative at all last time, but I wanted to use it this time just to show you guys how to use it, because a lot of people would probably spray too much and like really you're just wasting it then. It really doesn't take much at all. Okay, so I'm just going to brush my brush out a little bit on my paper towel, and now I'm going to go to the orange. I kind of use the orange just to give our piece a little more color, and I only went on the bottom of our kind of our trumpet vine or morning glory, and then here. So we'll just start kind of real light there. So it's going to be deeper and then less. Let's see, I came right over that a little bit. So I just kind of want to have it going kind of straight across, so I kind of got a little divot in here, so we're just going to work that out a little bit. You can take that orange up as far as you want to. And then we'll get a little bit more, and I'm going to turn it, and now I want to go just to kind of along this line. Just to kind of have that orangish throat to our flower. And so I have some on this side and on the other, on the top side of it. So you can do really as much as you want. So I want it darkest deep in that center line, so I'm going to add a couple more layers down in there. Just scrubbing, scratching back and forth. It just works it down in there. And then I want a little bit wider through the center part there, like kind of this, like the center part of your flower. It's going to be a little bit wider, orange, and then less as it goes to the outside. Now, if you wanted that even deeper orange, you could spray your fixative. I'm going to go back and get a little bit of yellow and kind of bring that back over my orange just to blend it a little bit more. So I have a, see, it's a softer line, and now I kind of have a line here, but now it's a nice soft line just by taking the yellow and bringing it back over the orange. And we'll do that a little bit over here too. We have a really sharp line here, so I'm just going to bring my yellow back over my orange. Just kind of soften it up a little bit. So you really want to have like gradual shading and not hard lines. I'm just going with the yellow back over the orange just to like blend it. So hopefully you can see like there's a nice blend here, but like here there's a line. So we're just softening that line a little bit. And I'm going from the yellow into the orange to do that. See how we get, we're just getting a nice soft line now on that edge. And now we'll turn it and do the other edge the same way. Like there's a pretty sharp line right there, so we're just going to take our yellow and bring it into the orange real lightly, and that will give us, just soften that line up. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Come back with a little yellow over here. It's pretty green yet. See if we put some white on there, and we can maybe get the green, out of that green. Being kind of stubborn. Let's put a little spray on there. Oh, and it looks like my screen has froze up, so I hope you guys' hasn't. What's going on here? Oh, come on. So we have to look at the thing here, what's going on. Oh, there it goes. So it looked like my screen had froze, you guys. Okay, so we got that pretty much how I want it. Alright, so we got our yellow on there. So we kind of have, I just want to go back and look at everything now before we go back and touch things up. Kind of get all this yellow dust out. I'm going to come with my blue-green. It's fairly blue, so I'm going to come with my blue-green just to tone that down just a little bit. Kind of darken it a little bit. So I'm putting the blue-green over that blue that I used. I just want it a little darker. Kind of that nice hummingbird dark color. So I'm using a blue-green over the blue. And that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to dust it again. Now we have to do a little touch-up. We have to paint our eyes black. We have to paint our stamens in our things and our little black dots. So we will do that. Where did I go with the black? I had it earlier today. So we'll put our chalk aside, shake up our black, which is OS 476. And I didn't think I needed any paint today, so I didn't go through these guys yet. Alright, so then we have our black, and now I want my little liner. This is 42L. We had that in the sale. Quite a few of you guys are getting it. So I just grabbed a drop of water, and I'm going to mix it into my black. I want to turn and pull this brush to load it. Turn and pull. Drag it through there, turn and pull, and that will give you a nice point on your brush. So now I want to add some little stamens in the middle of my flower here. So and you want just really, really little ones. So I do a few long ones, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll come back and maybe do some shorter ones or some longer ones. 3, 4, 5. I kind of like odd numbers of things. So we'll put in a couple longer ones. So they can be random because it's just really a 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I just go straight down into my paint and come back and start dotting them. And you can use a ball stylus for this too if you want. They're just pretty random. Some are bigger than others, some are skinnier, some are shorter. All right, so we got our little stamens in there. And then I actually like a couple short ones in between these long ones too, so it gives it more, I guess, depth, so it's not just, or I guess more three-dimensional, and it's not just like one row of stamens, because usually they're in a circle inside there. So that should be good. All right, now we want to do our eyeballs, and I just did those black, and they're pretty little. And you just want a good liner for doing all this little detail stuff. The better the liner is, the better success you should have. All right, so we got those. What else do we have? Black dots, eyes. All right, we have to get our green line in our green guys, and then we need some white too. So we'll get our white. white for 10 years. And then we need some accent green. Oh, and our white was OS 431 white. We'll put our highlights in our eyes with that. And then we have accent green SS 57 for some accent lines in our branch, our leaves. So again, I'm going to grab that drop of water, and there's just a drop of water on the brush. Hopefully you can see that. Mix that in there. It just flows off your brush better then. Again, pull it through, turn it, pull it through, turn it, pull it through, and turn it. And now I just get a little bit off because I want just a really light line through those. You can see how nice that flows off of there. And it's just to give our leaves a little more interest. And then they're usually wider or thicker at the base and thinner at the ends. You got a little heavy. And let's see, I did a couple on here too, just to bring that shadow line in there. Let's see, where else? Well, that's pretty much it for the green. All right, so now I'm going to get... We don't need, I just did a little dot with the white. Oh, I gotta wash that out. There's still green in there. Just go into my white. And I still turn it so I get a nice round point instead of a rectangular one. Just add a tiny, oh, way too much on there. Just a little tiny highlight in our eye. Like at 11 o'clock. You don't want to get those too big because then it's going to look like they're staring and not real. Real little. All right, we got that done. So now my white isn't real white. I'm going to go back and dry brush that a little bit. Let me see if I can get a little brush here with white in it. So with all the powder and whatnot, that white ends up losing some of its whiteness, so I just want to come back and whiten that up a little bit. So even though you have like the step-by-step thing, you want to look at your piece and see if it needs touching up anywhere. Like our white wasn't nice and white anymore. Just going to get it nice and white again. All right. So now I am actually going to take and put some of my ivory back on there because I kind of got chalk all over. And we'll start the other one a little bit different. I'm actually going to spray it with the fixative before we start it to show you that you can avoid a lot of this mess that I have. But this is the way we're going to do this one so you guys can learn different ways. So I want to shake my ivory up really good because I haven't used it. So I have ivory, OS 432 ivory. It's been sitting here since probably the week before last time. All right, so I'm going to take my little liner that I just had and threw somewheres. Oh, where'd you go, buddy? So now I just want to kind of touch up here a little bit. Just because we have a lot of color floating around. And I'm just using my ivory and going like right up to my piece. And when we do our background, we'll lose that sharp line with our blue. But there's just so much color here that I want to touch it up a little bit. I do like to use a bigger brush in those, like in the center area. Oh, he's not a good one. He didn't get washed out very good. So I'm just going to use a bigger nylon brush to kind of fill in. We don't need to use that little bitty brush. And we'll come back with our little brush and kind of get close in here. We just want to clean it up a little bit. And we don't want to get our whole thing in the ivory there. So I did not have time to do an album with the leftovers, but there really weren't many leftovers. So if someone did miss the live and you watched it and you've seen something, you can message me to see if, I'll check with Courtney if there's a leftover and we'll see if you can get it. But there wasn't much left over, so. And I'm trying to get my taxes started here before it's getting kind of late. We're less than a month, so I worked on those today. Made slip, loaded the kiln, took molds apart, did some of the paperwork for the March box, like printing the labels and that kind of stuff. So I didn't have time to do an album with the extras that are left over, and like I said, there really isn't much left over. So I hope you guys enjoyed the sale. It was fun. It lasted a little longer than we wanted it to. So I think you guys got some pretty good deals because just about everything was on sale except for a couple things. So I'm just going with my liner, like just right up to everything, just to kind of get our main color back in there again. Now on our candy dish, I did let these colors in the background, and those we just kind of pounced more of them on there to kind of build, to have a more dramatic background. This one has a lot less color in the background, so just to show you guys different ways to do them. Kind of reminds me of like the China painting or the like watercolors. Just got to do some touch up here. Like I like to use the little brush close, and then come back with the bigger brush. And I can actually get pretty close with it. But for you guys, I would probably recommend doing like the liner brush. And then you don't have to like do your whole vase over. You just want to come out as far as your chalk is all over. And then with the bigger brush, you can kind of like brush out those little brush strokes from your liner. Come right along there. So you can see, like you can, if you can use the bigger brush for like along these bigger areas, like you can definitely do that. Like that's usually what I do. I just thought it'd be easier for you guys with the smaller liner to show you that way, but here's another way to do it. And then just brush it out good so you don't have big rivers there. And then I'll have to get in this little area here with my little brush again. So how's everyone's weather doing? I had 41 degrees today, but I guess we have 6 to 9 inches of snow on our way for Saturday. I've seen a few pictures of daffodils and things, so I'm guessing I would think another 2 weeks or so it should warm up pretty good for everybody. Unless you're really far north. We were about 41 today too, really nice 82. Oh, lucky you, Lucy. We're just happy to be 40s. People put their shorts on when it gets to be 40 here. So I actually had the garage door open while I was making slip because the kiln was firing and it was like 80 degrees in there. So this is such a little area. I'm just going to use my little liner to kind of fill it in. And we'll just work our way down here. Wanda says almost 82. Oh, you guys are lucky. But you must have pretty warm summers then if you're already 80. You have to be tough to live there. Oh, where I am? Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but especially 9 inches of snow come Saturday. That's really gonna. I think it's gonna be wet, heavy stuff because it's supposed to be like 32 degrees. So a lot of people snowbird. Oh yeah, it's pretty hot in the summer. Yeah, so every place has its advantages, right? We get into the 80s. August we can get into like the 90s and occasionally 100, but not too often. But it tends to get really humid here in August. I had wanted to do our Fashion Hues retreat in September, but our teacher can't. She wants to come in August, so we're doing August. I did not have time to work on that yet this week, just because I got to get my taxes done here so I can get them handed in. So that's what I'm going to do. I did part of today, and I'll do part of tomorrow too. So I'm just going around our little vine here to clean him up because we got green all over the place. Hopefully those little wands, when you guys get them in your box, that'll make it easier for the little areas. This is a little putsy, but not too. It's rare to have a day less than a 90. Oh my goodness, no. We have, July can be pretty nice. I mean, we can get 90s in July too, but like our last freeze days are like really considered to be Memorial Weekend. But we've gotten frost already in June too, so. You kind of got to be careful with your stuff and watch the weather the first couple weeks of June. You might have to cover your annual baskets and things up, but we have such a short season here. I'm just brushing around stuff, and now I kind of had a lot of my brush, so I just wiped it to the side there, so I'm just going to brush it out here quick. And then kind of come back and touch this up with the bigger brush so we lose all those brush marks. And then kind of fill in here. We're just getting kind of cleaning up our chalk mess. So on our dish lid, we'll do it a little differently. Where we won't have to do this as much as we are with this one. So just to do things a little different, so you guys learn different things that work and don't work, and maybe something will work for you that works better for someone else or didn't work for someone else. We want to get to our background here yet, so you guys can see how to do that on this one. If you're pretty good, you can use, if you're pretty steady, you can use the bigger brush for all of it, but I do kind of like the little one to go around the stuff. Unless I have a lot of room, then I tend to try to do it with the bigger brush, like I am here. Go to the little brush to get in this little corner here. I haven't seen a robin yet, but I've heard that the robins are here. A lot of the other birds are here. The sandhill cranes and different swans and geese are like traveling through our area to go north. So spring's definitely around the corner. Got some green on the bottom there that we'll touch up. Some more ivory. It's hard to believe it's already the end of March, but it has to be the end of the March in order for us to get spring too, so hopefully I can take pictures of all those daffodils I rescued last year and you guys can see those. I'm just kind of resting it on my hand here and kind of filling in this bigger area, and then we'll switch back to the little brush again. You do want to brush that out nice so you don't have ridges. See if we can go along here with the big brush. All right, I think we got to go back to our little brush. Just want to make sure you're resting your hand where it's not wet. So I made my cake and didn't put the flour in it, so I can't make another one because I only have one egg left. So I'll have to get eggs tomorrow because I made a batch of frosting and can't really do much with frosting if you don't have a cake to put it on. It was the cake off the Hershey's Cocoa container, and it looked like it was going to be really good. Also, the Bjorn bunny that I posted in the creative classroom is actually the one for our workshop on Saturday. And he has the tissue paper on his hat, so it looks like it's kind of leatherish. Eating the chocolate straight from the bowl. Well, let me tell you, I had a couple teaspoons full. And I even took a part of my, about a 2x2 piece of my flat cake and put some on there. It was very gooey, the cake, because there's no flour in it, but it kind of satisfied my sweet tooth for now. That's pretty desperate, though. I have been eating a handful of chocolate chips here and there because I haven't had time to make anything sweet. And I thought, oh, I'm going to take the time here and make a cake quick. Oh, so much for that thought. I'm pretty sure the rest of it's going to get scraped into the garbage can. But the frosting was really good. It was off the Hershey's can too. I'm just going to come with my big brush now to kind of get rid of all them little lines. You got to be careful so you don't get it on your leaves and whatnot. Let's see, it looks like we could use a little bit more around our bird here. I think I have graham crackers in the cupboard. I could probably dig out some graham crackers and put my frosting on those, maybe. Maybe that'll be my treat. I'll just save it till tomorrow and go get a cake mix. We're just about there. We're getting there. We just got the little top half here to get covered up yet. So it's looking pretty good otherwise. Just a little putsy, I guess, with this part of it. Frosting and graham crackers is yummy, yeah. Even graham crackers, maybe just a bowl of graham crackers and milk would be good. I usually like white frosting with my graham crackers, but maybe we'll have chocolate tonight after I have to pour molds yet. I'm actually pouring March or April and May's at the same time, so I can try to get a whole month ahead here once. So March, April, May. So your May box is it's a Creative Paradise mold. And it's a raccoon that's laying on his back and playing with a birdhouse. And then he actually kind of has a little partner one where the raccoon is sitting up and playing with a birdhouse, but they don't make that mold anymore. But I do have one of it, so I'll have a few I have to dig that one out actually and get pouring him. So we'll have that as an add-on. And I'm not sure if Courtney's going to do another spring cleaning sale for next month or not for add-ons, because we do have one more room to go through up at the classroom yet with all that extra stuff from changing our shelving. So we'll have to see what she says. If she doesn't, then I will do our normal bisque album. We got just a little bit left here to get touched up. I just like to get rid of all those little liner marks as much as I can. And that's just a personal preference thing. In those little bitty areas, it's kind of hard to do. All right, so we went all the way around and kind of touched everything up. I'm going to kind of look at it one more time to see if there's any areas that maybe need a little more, where the chalk is coming through a lot. I got a lot in here yet. And he's starting to look pretty good. Looking like somebody owns him. So we didn't get to the bumblebee gnome the other night. So I do have some of them. If any of you guys want those, you can just message me. They're $29 for that Clay Magic bumblebee gnome. But just message me, because I do have the comments turned off on the video because it's really hard to keep up with the comments otherwise. So that was one of the things we didn't get to. Like the time goes really fast when we're doing that live, believe it or not. So Courtney actually didn't leave here until it was 10:15 by the time we got done taking everything back into putting everything back into boxes to take back to the shop. And then she had an hour drive back to Appleton, so I'm just going a little bit around the edge here one more time just to make sure I got enough of this chalk all covered up. Or anytime there's anything that you guys want to add to the box, like just message me and I could say, oh yeah, I got that on the shelf, I can pull it, or no I don't, we'll have to do it next month. Someone messaged me today for last year's bunnies, so like I messaged Courtney if we had any left, and we do, so she was able to, I'll be able to add those to her invoice. So just message anytime you guys want brushes, like you can message me for brushes or paint or the brush on glitter, the silk screen stuff, like any of those supplies that we have. Like you can look in the albums. That's why I let the albums up and I didn't delete them, so you guys can go back and look at them and kind of shop them. The comments are off, like I said, just because it's really hard to go back and like if I don't check comments every couple hours, that they can get lost in the comments, and then Facebook doesn't show them to me. So it's not that I'm not ignoring you, it's that they just get lost in the whole Facebook deal. So it's easier if I just shut them off and then you guys just message me. And then I tend to lose them once in a while too, so my brain's not as young as it used to be. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. We're just going to let that dry here a little bit. As I keep painting, right? It's like when she keeps saying that, she keeps painting. Okay, I'll quit. We'll look at the back to make sure. So if you have any chalk all over the back, you're going to want to touch that up just because you're handling it, and it just gets everywhere. We're not going to put any of the blue on the back, but I just want it to look nice and fresh here. You can see it's all chalked up back here. So you do want to go back and like fix it up so it looks nice. And we'll do that while the front is drying. It does have glaze on the inside, so you could put water in here to put flowers in it if you wanted. That was your extra, your featured extra for this month. So we're just prettying it up because we got chalk all over the back here. It needs to dry just a little bit. Wash that out. I'm going to take a drink. Oh, I dripped. All right. So we did the eyes. Pulse blue in the background with a little more in the center areas and less as you go outward. All right, let me wash this out. Put him in there. So you don't want to let your brushes in the water, because that gets the water gets up into the ferrule and lets your glue loose. So I usually like to wash them out, and then I'll lay them to the side. And then when I'm done for the night, like, I really wash them out really good. Although sometimes I end up forgetting. So lay those aside so we can wash them out later. All right. How are we doing here? We need to dry just a little bit. So I'm going to put just a little bit of fixative on it. You wouldn't have to do it, but I kind of prefer it that way. So just little short. Alrighty. So now we need a nice little brush for our blue. And actually I'm going to do the back too so that it doesn't get full of chalk again. If you have the porcelain sealer, like, you could use that. That stuff works really good too. So it's just little short sprays. All right, well, that one's kind of big. Let's see here. What do I want? I want this guy. All right, so I'm going to use this number 1 round. And we're going to get a new piece of paper towel in case I need that. Let's get rid of that. So now I used a blue in the background. Kind of that blue-green, actually. So you can make it look more greenery looking, or you can make it look more sky looking. I'm going to go with the blue-green. And I want to tap it out just a little bit because I don't want too much. So I'm going to go kind of right up along all my little areas, kind of like outline, just a little bit. So we're just kind of outlining around our piece first, or an area. Just kind of, because it kind of shades it. Gives it a little bit of shading. And I'm using the blue-green. And I'm just going to go around my hummingbird here, just for starters. And it's not a real, it's just as wide, I guess, as what the brush is, was really all it is. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going to lay that one down. And now I want something a little bit bigger and kind of a little bit softer too. What do we got here? You're kind of big. This one here is like a size 5. So I'm going to go into my blue-green, tap it out a little bit. So now I kind of like just a little less, kind of pounce it here and there. So I'm just kind of like dabbing or pouncing. And I kind of grab what's along my bird and kind of bring it out into the vase too. And I go grab, just like, I'm not actually rubbing it back and forth, I'm just like dabbing it in there. Kind of dab it on my paper towel and then kind of dab it onto my vase. And then like that was kind of strong there, so I'm going to like brush that out, try to brush that out. Kind of again, I'm just going to dab into that, touch that. So I like to have it darker in this area here, because like this would be shaded a lot, and then less as we go out away from it. So I'm going to bring a little bit more of that blue-green into this area here. That's like there would be a lot of shade here, a lot of shade here, a lot of shade here. Probably a lot of shade up here. Let's get a little more in there. And then I just kind of try to push that by pouncing it up and down, just to get that nice soft look. Again, I'm going to dab it a little bit, kind of pounce it there, dab it, kind of bring it towards my hummingbird. And now I'll try to like start by the bird and then kind of bring it out into this bigger area, so it gets less. Again, just kind of start by the bird and kind of bring it out. Just kind of like dabbing, stabbing. And if you want a little bit darker area, just like dab into your color and kind of, you can make like some areas a little darker, some a little heavier. So like this would have a little more color down in here because it would have some shading down in there. So we're getting like a nice colored area there in this area here now. But we're gonna like get it less as we're getting to the outside here now. Like I can just come over here and kind of grab some of that and like just brush it over here to kind of build that up and brush it down. But I'm just kind of dabbing or pouncing. So now that was a lot. Kind of blow it off, but we'll be able to like bring it out further. And you don't want it like one even color. You kind of want some dark color, some lighter and some darker areas, but you do want it lighter as you get to this outside. Get it a little darker under his tail there. I'm kind of like going in a circle too, or you can go the other way, or you can just kind of like pounce up and down. But I kind of like pounce it and push it out, like I'm pushing it out. So we're like gradually getting a little bit of color out here. I'm going to touch really, really lightly to bring the color out here instead of going so heavy into the chalk, like I'm barely touching it. And like I barely touch it to bring color out here. Now we're gonna come and work over here now because we have our bird darkened. So I'm actually gonna like kind of grab some because he's pretty dark. So I wanna start out dark by my bird and then like just kind of bring it out. You can see you can kind of push it out. Because we want it darker here and then we want it less as we're getting out further. And now I'll touch it very lightly, and so that I don't get much color for over here. And like the sky usually isn't one uniform shade of blue, so it's like there's clouds and things, so like you have different shades of blue, so it's okay. Like we have more here, we have less here, more here. So in this instance, it's like it's okay. Versus when you're dry brushing something and you want it all even and not blotchy. This is kind of that watercolor background. That's kind of how you get that. So I'm just going to touch really lightly so I can bring a little bit of color over here. Like I'm touching my chalk really lightly so I'm not getting much on my brush. And like right there's where it landed, so I'm just going to keep like brushing that out and that'll get softer and softer. So I'm just kind of, I call it pouncing, or I don't know, maybe doing like that C-stroke kind of a thing. So now I'm going to get a little bit more and then we're going to come closer to our bird here. And then we're going to like work our way out again. And like I came this far with my outlining, so that's about how far I'll come. And I just keep brushing back and forth over it. I sure hated it that I couldn't make the sale. Oh. Was eating a piece of chocolate cake, cookie dough cake. I thought about going to McDonald's after I'm done and getting a shamrock shake, but I really don't need to do that because I need to pour stuff, so I'll just make it till tomorrow. So if you only want a little bit of chalk, like you just grab a little bit of chalk. If you want more chalk, for your darker areas, then you just grab a little bit more. And you kind of have light areas and dark areas because that's just kind of how that watercolor, if you look at watercolors or China painting, that's kind of how that background kind of works for them. And so it's getting less as it's going away from our piece. I'm just going to go like straight in there. I'm not even going to outline it. I'm just going to get it a nice dark color in there. And now we'll just kind of work our way around. So this is just another way of doing it. Like you don't have to outline it like I did there, but like I kind of like to do the outlining because it brings more attention to our bird. And it kind of makes it softer over here. So it looks like I need a little bit up here. So I'm going to outline this bird. go back to our little round number 1. Now this would be dark in here, this would be dark here, it would be dark here. This is going to be lighter out here because it's like out in the air. But we kind of want this darker here. So I just put just that little, it's just a little, it's less than probably like 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch. This whole thing will actually darken up because all of this is giving that little area shade. Same with here. And then I kind of like it dark around my birds because then that just brings more attention to them. So I'm just like we were doing it before, I'm just kind of like rubbing little circles. I'm working my way around our bird, and then like that's really, you can see now like this is how we had that when it was really kind of dramatic, but like once we get done blending it, it's nice and soft. Hopefully you guys can see that because you really don't want this line that I'm creating, but we brush it out and soften it. And then like this is like a nice little triangle in here, so that's going to be, that whole area is going to be darker. Just kind of work our way up here. And then like this vine you can or don't have to like outline it. It's kind of out in the air, so like I'm not going to outline it very much, just a little bit underneath on the bottom side here. We already did that, so I want it a little darker in here. And we got that little bitty area here, so he would be darker, so we're going to darken that up. And all that shading is what's going to give your piece more, like there's just more dimension on it. Just get a little bit there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my big brush. And now we're going to do our pouncing and bouncing. So just by doing that, like that just softens that edge. Like I'm kind of hitting it at the edge and bringing it into the inside. And here we're going to hit it and take it to the outside. Kind of work that in. So just kind of pounce. Wasn't really sure what else to call that. It's kind of a pouncing C stroke. So we're going to work it out to this side, but we want it real light out here. So I kind of just bring what's over here like out, and if I need more I just lightly touch it so that there's not much chalk in that brush. And then like you do want stronger areas and weaker areas, just because like if you looked at the sky, like you have clouds and it doesn't all look the same, like it's not just a solid color. This will be a little bit darker through here again, and then lighter out there, just because we got all of this. All of this is making shade over here. So probably darken this up a little bit more. And now we'll go back to our barely touching our green, our blue-green. And then kind of brushing it out so we can bring it out to this edge. So I'm going to start in here. And we're gonna like brush this line out so we don't have that line there. So I'll hold it up here in just a second. So now you can see, like I did my pouncing through here, so we lost this line that we have here. So that's what we're doing. But like we have more here, and then less as it comes out. And so we're just going to keep working our way around doing that. It's kind of magical how it just kind of does that. But and then if you need a little more, you can just go grab a little more. Grab just a little bit so we can get a little bit more color out further. All right, so we'll keep coming around the bird because it looks like we're already at 8:30 here. You can see I just like brush it away from your piece so that you're bringing that color into that center there where it's so we don't have that line right next to our birds. Like here we can bring a little more in, and then we just like work it out so we got our blue-green coming out further. And this here we'll keep pretty light just because like that little leaf's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so like there's not a lot of shading. But we do got a little bit in there because we want a little bit. Like it's going to be darker up under there. So I'm just kind of like pouncing it, doing like the letter C, kind of jabbing it and stabbing it, and just trying to get my color to move out. You can like kind of just do your little like little just round like in circles to like blend it out. That's all you have to do is just work that color out further. That's pretty much it for our vase, you guys. It just got sealed with sealer after that. Like I would probably come back here yet and add a little more color here and there because like I have a lot right here, so I need to get some in here. Just kind of work that back in there. But it doesn't have to be really even like that. That's what that watercolor look is. It's like, it's more like this right here is what you're aiming for. So we'll just add a little more, and like if you wanted more color up under your bird here, you could just bring some more in to shade him more, and even in here. And then just kind of bring that blue like right, like I left about the ivory like right along there, kind of like right along here too. Just like keep adding your color until you have it how you want it with your brush. And he's looking pretty good here. So it's kind of I called it pouncing, but it's kind of a dry brush. I guess my letter C again, where I'm just kind of brushing it. This will darken up a little bit more in here. Kind of darken this a little bit and lighten it a little bit on this side just to like blend that one in a little bit. That was a little more than I wanted there. But that's all there is to it. You kind of want a nice even here, like you don't want it to like go out and in and out and in, like it's kind of nice and kind of a nice round shape, kind of the shape of our vase. And anywhere you want it darker, just go back and get a little more of your background color and like darken it up a little bit. That'll make this bird come out more. That's really about it for this guy. So it kind of has that nice watercolor look to it. You could add other colors in there if you want to or not. That's what we're going to do with the candy dish lid. That has a lot more color in the background. This one just has the blue-green in it. The other one we'll do more colors in the background. But there you go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Then you can just seal this guy. I'm afraid my pouncing is going to look all schmeary. So I did spray it with the fixative before I started pouncing, but like you really should be okay. You don't have to use that either. Let me see. I sure like just use a little bit, and it's like you just keep brushing it, and like I brush it to the outside, and that's how I get it lighter out here. And then if you need it darker inside, like you just grab a little bit more of your dark color and just keep building it up. Basically, you want it darker around your anything that's your dimension, your leaves here and your flower, your birds. So you can like keep darkening it. He's plenty dark already, I think. It won't smear. You'll be okay. Just get a little bit at a time, and like try to brush it out. Like brush it out, and that'll bring it out here, so you get that real light edge out here, so it just kind of like blends away. So that is it, you guys. It won't look like can I fire it and burn the colors off? You know, I'm not sure. Like I've never burnt off the chalk. You can I've burnt off the acrylics. I'm guessing you can burn off the chalk too. I would think so. So that's really it. It would just get sealed, and he would be good to go. So, and if you want more colors in your background, like you can add more colors. But that is our vase that we made it in 2 times, so it looks pretty good. So next week we will start with our candy dish, and it will have more colors in the background, so I can show you the candy dish. So you can see it has a lot more color, just because wherever, like I use the green here where the green was, and the green here, and kind of the bird charcoal here, and more charcoal around it, and then the blue out here. So where this one we went and touched up, so we could have it blue all over, or the blue-green all over. So I kind of wanted it to have more of this, like a greenery or sky background look to it. This one, just to give you guys like 2 different ways of doing them, just so we get used to the chalk a little bit. But like I'm pretty satisfied with it, so I hope you guys like it too. And if you're having trouble, you can always take a picture of it and message me, and I can see what we can do. If you're afraid of smearing, like just get some of that workable fixative, or if you have the old Duncan porcelain sealer, that would work great too. So otherwise, I think that's about it for tonight. I can show you guys the bears again. Oops. Like I said, I'll invoice on Sunday because I do have shop hours on Saturday. And then you guys have till the 1st to pay, and then I start shipping. If you need to pay late or a different day because your money comes a different day or whatever, just message me, and I'll make a note of it. If anybody needs anything added to your box, just message me. And I think that's about it. I guess have a good warm week because it's warming up here. Although, like I said, we got 6 to 9 inches of snow on its way, but it won't stay long. It's better that it's almost the end of March instead of the beginning of November. So that's a good thing. So we know spring is coming, and we can all enjoy that. So here is our pieces again. You can see there's a big difference between the backgrounds. So we'll do this guy a little different next time, and he should be just as easy as this one to do. And if you want different background colors, like just do them however you want them, you guys. Like do it so you like it. And I do have more of these if anyone wants just the, if you want the vase and the bird, like they're $17 each if you want them. They'd be glazed on the inside just like they are. I did pour extra one because hummingbirds are always popular, so you can always add those to your invoices too. So have a good week, you guys, and we'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining me tonight. Bye-bye.